Your sparrows are not as warm as they seem. They're shivering through the night, their body temperature dropping to near freezing. One mistake in feeding habits could spell disaster. Another might mean losing a nest to snow. Stay to the end because we'll show you how to spot the first signs of danger before it's too late. Number 1. Your yard might be a haven for sparrows, but not every corner offers them the warmth they need. During freezing nights, these resilient birds can shiver for hours without you ever noticing. Their survival depends on more than just the food you provide. It's about the shelter you offer. House sparrows can lose up to 25% of their body heat in a single night if they're exposed to wind and cold. This is a hidden struggle, one that goes on silently under the cover of darkness. What this means for you is that you can be the difference between survival and struggle for these little survivors. You might assume that the food and water you provide are the most important things for your feathered friends, but their true need for shelter is often overlooked. The Cornell Lab of Ornithology reports that sparrows rely on dense shrub cover to escape the wind and snow. Without that, even the most well-fed birds can suffer silently. These birds are constantly adjusting, fluffing their feathers, huddling close, and trying to retain as much heat as possible. You might not see the shivering, but the signs are there if you know where to look. Their survival hinges on the cover you leave intact, not just the seeds you spread. A 2021 study in PNAS found that sparrows in urban areas have an edge over rural ones, thanks to more available shelter, something you can provide in your own backyard. It's not just about the food you leave out, but the structure and cover you preserve. A single patch of thick bushes or a cluster of evergreens can be a life-saving refuge. If you're not paying attention, you might miss the subtle signs they're struggling. But if you are, you can make a real difference. What comes next isn't just about the cold, it's about the choices you make to support them. Number 2. The danger of shallow feeders is something many of us overlook, but it can be deadly in winter. When you place feeders that are too shallow, you're getting predators a clear view of your birds as they scurry for food. This is especially true for sparrows, which instinctively stay low to the ground, making them easy targets for cats and hawks lurking above. The University of Washington has found that shallow trays cause sparrows to spend 30% more time on the ground, increasing their risk of attack. What this means for you is simple. Shallow feeders may seem convenient, but they're a trap for your birds. A little extra depth can make all the difference in keeping them safe. Imagine a sparrow trying to balance on a flat, shallow tray, its wings fluffed for warmth. It's not just about visibility, it's about survival. Birds need to feel secure while feeding, and shallow trays make them vulnerable. They can't huddle together for warmth or escape quickly if danger approaches. The lack of depth makes them feel exposed, even if they're just a few feet from cover. This behavior changes their entire feeding strategy, making them more alert and stressed. In cold weather, this stress can weaken their immune systems, making them more prone to illness and death. But you can change this. Deep feeders are more than just a design choice. They're a lifeline for your birds in winter. By providing trays that are at least 5 to 7 inches deep, you're giving sparrows the space they need to feel safe and stay warm. This depth allows them to huddle together, reducing their exposure to the cold and predators alike. You might not notice the difference at first, but your birds will. And in the quiet moments when they're tucked safely in the feeder, you'll know you made the right choice. Keep listening and you'll learn what they need before it's too late. Number 3. The silent risk of ice. This is a danger many overlook, especially in colder months. A thin layer of ice forming on your feeder might look harmless, but for small birds like sparrows, it can be a death trap. They can't grip icy surfaces and their wings are too weak to lift them off once they slip. You might not even notice it until it's too late. What this means for you is simple. Prevention is key. A little effort now can save a life. When ice forms on your feeders, it's not just a visual inconvenience, it's a life or death issue for sparrows. They're used to foraging in open spaces, but on a frozen feeder, they get stuck, unable to reach the seeds below. Their energy depletes quickly, and without food, they can't survive the night. You might think your birds are safe inside, but they're relying on you to keep their food accessible. This is why a warm, unfrozen feeder isn't just a luxury, it's a necessity for their survival. Even a brief period of icy conditions can push sparrows to the brink. They're not built for cold, and once they're trapped, they can't just wait it out. They need food, and fast. That's why checking your feeders daily during winter is a small but vital act of care. You're not just feeding birds, you're giving them a second chance. The next time you see frost forming, you'll know what to do, and that's a chance you'll be glad you took. Number 4. Nest box mistakes that kill. This is a detail you might overlook but can have deadly consequences. Many well-meaning bird lovers install nest boxes without considering the specifics of size, height, or placement. For example, if the entrance hole is larger than 6 inches, predators like raccoons and snakes can easily slip in and harm the nestlings inside. This is not just about the box itself, but how it fits into the bird's natural survival instincts. Your choice here can mean the difference between a safe home and a deadly trap. What this means for you is that every inch of setup matters, and you must pay attention to the precise details of construction and placement. Nest boxes placed too low, especially under eaves, can become ice traps during winter, locking birds inside with no escape. Imagine a family of birds trapped in a box that's supposed to protect them, but instead becomes a prison when temperatures drop. The National Audubon Society clearly states that nest boxes should be elevated at least 5 feet from the ground for winter safety, and this isn't just a suggestion, it's a crucial step in ensuring survival. The height and placement of your nest boxes are more than a technicality. They're a matter of life and death for the birds that depend on them. This isn't about inconvenience, it's about giving your feathered neighbors a real chance at safety. Every detail of the nest box setup is a potential risk, and overlooking even one can turn a sanctuary into a danger zone. It's easy to think that placing a box in your yard is enough, but the truth is the setup must be precise. You're not just providing shelter, you're creating a safe environment where birds can breed, raise their young, and thrive. The next section will show you how even the smallest oversight can lead to tragedy, so stay with us. There's more to learn, and the more you know, the better protected your birds will be. Number 5. The hidden cost of overfeeding is a quiet but deadly trap many backyard bird lovers unknowingly set for their feathered friends. It's easy to believe that more food equals more happiness for the sparrows, but the truth is that too much of the wrong kind can lead to serious health problems. When sparrows gorge on sunflower seeds alone, they miss out on essential nutrients and grit, which are vital for digestion and overall health. Overfeeding can lead to obesity in sparrows, which reduces their ability to generate body heat, a critical factor during cold months. What this means for you is that even the most well-intentioned feeding habits can have unintended consequences if not carefully managed. You're not just feeding birds, you're shaping their survival. A 2019 study in Nature found that sparrows with access to unlimited seed had a 40% higher risk of disease during winter, a statistic that shouldn't be ignored. This doesn't just mean they get sick more often, it means they're less likely to survive the cold when they're already weakened by poor nutrition. The excess food can lead to a lack of foraging behavior, which is crucial for sparrows to stay active and healthy. When birds stop hunting for food, they lose the natural exercise that helps build muscle and maintain a strong immune system. This sets them up for a life of vulnerability, where a simple cold snap could be the difference between life and death. You're not just feeding birds, you're influencing their entire lifestyle. Sparrows need a balanced diet of seeds, suet, and grit, not just sunflower seeds. This balance ensures that they receive the full range of nutrients necessary for their health and energy. Without grit, they can't properly digest their food, and without suet, they lack the fat that helps them survive harsh winters. What you might not realize is that feeding them too much of one type of food can actually make them sick, a risk that many people overlook. This is why it's so important to offer variety and moderation in your feeding routine. The next section will reveal how even the most well-meaning feeders can inadvertently harm their birds, and what you can do to stop it before it's too late. Number 6. The silent signs of a dying sparrow are easy to overlook, but they're urgent warnings your birds are sending. A sparrow that's fluffed up but not moving is not just cold, it's in hypothermia, its body struggling to stay alive. This is not a time to wait and see, it's a call to act. What this means for you is that every moment you delay could be a moment lost. These birds depend on your watchful eye and quick response. The next time you see one like this, you'll know exactly what to do. Lethargy isn't just a symptom, it's a red flag that your sparrow is in severe cold stress. If the bird can't lift its head or respond when you approach, it's a clear sign that its body is shutting down to conserve energy. This isn't just about survival, it's about the fight for its life. Your yard becomes a refuge, and your actions can mean the difference between recovery and loss. You have the power to intervene, and that matters more than you realize. When a sparrow can't perch or stand, it's a critical condition. According to the American Birding Association, this is the moment you need to step in. You may not see it at first, but once you do, you'll be ready to help. The next scene will show you how to bring your bird back from the edge before it's too late. These silent signs are not final, they're a chance for you to save a life. You kneel beside the sparrow, its tiny body trembling in the cold, its eyes wide with silent trust. In that moment, you feel the weight of every choice you've made, the way you placed the feeder, the plants you grew, the care you gave. This is not fear, but a calling. You believe, not because you know everything, but because you care enough to try. And in that belief, you find the strength to act, to save, to protect. You are not just a bird owner, you are a guardian of fragile, fleeting lives. You whisper a silent promise, to listen, to learn, to care, and in that moment, the sparrow stirs. It's not just about saving one life, it's about believing in the power of small, everyday acts of kindness. You may not know all the answers, but you know this: you are enough. Enough to make a difference, enough to protect, enough to hope. And in that hope, the sparrow finds warmth and you find purpose. What's the first sign you've seen that your sparrows are struggling this winter? Let us know in the comments. Your insight might help someone else save a bird. We're here for every one of you, every sparrow in your garden, every moment you choose to care. I'll see you in the next one.